Now, if you guys didn't know, electric ratchets should not be used as breaker bars or high leverage torque tools because this might happen.
Oh, that's a bummer.
And electric ratchets should also probably not be used as hammers. Now, if you want to find out just how you should be using these electric ratchets, low torque application with lots of repeatability, that's exactly what electric ratchets are good for. Now, you're also going to find out really quickly that electric ratchets aren't cheap, and so you're going to want to find the best one. We're going to test the RPMs with the 12-inch threaded fastener, not only for insertion, but also removal. Which one of these tools can do it the fastest? We're going to get the size, the dimensions, the shape, the weight, 18 volt versus 12 volt, and then we're also going to take all these electric ratchets to failure so you don't have to, so you know how much force you can apply on an extended ratchet or just your standard ratchet. So let's get to testing these tools right now. So we'll show you not only the manufacturer specifications for RPMs or revolutions per minute, we're also going to show you the battery sizes that we used. And you can see that the Harbor Freight Hercules is listed at 275 RPMs, and that is the fastest of all the devices tested, except for that Milwaukee stubby impact driver, which has 2,700 RPMs. And you can clearly see that that impact driver, 10 times the amount of RPMs, is definitely going to be the fastest of the tools. Now, it's a different shape, different size, and it might not fit in every situation. Now, the electric ratchets, there also is that 12 volt platform, and then the Ryobi uses that 18 volt platform, and there is a difference there. The Milwaukee platform does allow the 12 volt to go up to 4 amp hour and 6 amp hour batteries, and those do make a difference. However, all things considered, in this case, the 275 RPM Hercules did finish before the Milwaukee, and also the slowest Milwaukee fuel at 200 RPMs extended reach ratchet did finish in last place when it came to that threaded fastener. Now we'll go ahead and remove that fastener without charging up the batteries in between. And everything is the same except for we swapped out the Milwaukee impact driver with the Harbor Freight Hercules 12 volt impact driver. Drops down the RPMs to 2,500, but you can still see in the insertion and the removal, RPM is really what matters here. Now, battery does play some importance because we can see that the Milwaukee brushed on the bottom left-hand side there, that's still doing a really good job. And then you have the Milwaukee Fuel M12 extended reach ratchet, 200 RPMs on that, and it's definitely the slowest out of all of these tools, which is definitely something Milwaukee knew about. So they recently launched the high-speed ratchet that'll run you $179. Some of these other products are running as cheap as $79 and upwards of $229. And that brushed Milwaukee finished first with that 4 amp hour battery, and then we got the Harbor Freight Hercules 12 volt coming in, and that Ryobi, and finally the Milwaukee Fuel extended reach ratchet, 200 RPMs coming in the slowest. And after running those tools for 2 minutes, you can see that nothing really peaks out over 80 degrees. Now, in order to keep bringing you guys really cool content when it comes to tools, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps support the channel, and I know you want more cool content. Now, we did test out all these electric ratchets in a manner that you would expect. Something that's low torque, something that's repeatable, and something that's very consistent. And these ratchets, the Milwaukee, the Ryobi, the Hercules, they all actually worked really well. Now, you do have to pick the right ratchet for the application, and in those tight spaces, the extended long reach ratchets really do make things more efficient. They're fast, and you can get the job done really quickly. Again, you just got to make sure you're picking a fairly low torque application. Now, we do talk about the torque. How much torque can you apply? Well, we're going to show you in a little bit. Even the Milwaukee extended long reach ratchet with the larger head was able to get into tight places, and it really helped get a job done quickly. Now, in the last half of the video, we're going to go ahead and take each individual brand. We're going to get the head measurements for thickness, the body thickness, the weight, the length. We're going to do the torque measurements for what the manufacturer states for the electric ratchet, and then we're going to take each one to see how much torque it can finally take before it fails. Now we'll start things off with the Milwaukee 245720 brushed model. Each one of these pretty much needs a battery to use because it's an electric ratchet, and that one comes in just under 2 pounds. Now the head thickness on this is under 1.25 inches, and the Milwaukee was in the top 3 for having the slimmest heads. Now, as far as the ratchet body, it was coming in at 1.72 inches and 1.88 inches, and this electric ratchet does feature a trigger lock on it. Now, when we look at the Milwaukee documentation on this ratchet, it states that it's roughly about 35 pounds of max torque on here. And when we went ahead and tested out the ratchet, you can see that we were roughly able to get around 32.6 foot-pounds, which is fairly close to what the manufacturer states. If we do throw a bigger battery on here, it had no problem getting over 35 foot-pounds. This happens to be a shorter standard size ratchet. With the battery, it's around 11 inches or just under. We're gonna see how much torque we can put on this thing by hand before it fails. Now, the Milwaukee ratchet was able to achieve 85 foot-pounds before failure, and something like this, you probably wouldn't want to use more than 40 or 50 foot-pounds so that you can have this tool to work and use for many years to come. Next up, we'll look at the Harbor Freight Hercules 3/8" drive electric ratchet, item number 57280. This comes in roughly 2.3 pounds with a 2 amp hour battery. Harbor Freight is said to release larger sizer batteries potentially in the next 12 to 24 months. When you look at the head thickness, it's under 1.25 inches at 1.187 inches. Now, it's a pretty thin head, and when we look at the body thickness on here, it's slightly larger than the Milwaukee at 2 inches. Now, I did like the fact that the paddle on here, it's not made like the Milwaukee, so it doesn't catch and grab or get caught on anything. So when it comes to max torque output, again, we're going to use a full battery here. Harbor Freight claims the Hercules will produce around 40 foot-pounds of torque. You can see that we're easily able to jump well over 30 foot-pounds of torque, and finally we were able to achieve 41.1 foot-pounds of max torque, which makes this ratchet meet and exceed everything it's claimed to do. It's roughly 12.25 inches in length. We're going to go ahead and take the Hercules electric 12-volt ratchet to failure. So we heard lots of noises at 139 foot-pounds. We're gonna go ahead and finish off the Hercules. Jeez. Go ahead and see if it works here. Honestly, that is unbelievable. The Hercules just actually... So the internals on the Hercules finally gave out on us. We were able to put down 139 foot-pounds on the Hercules, which makes that definitely a stronger ratchet than the Milwaukee one. So next up, we have the Ryobi 18-volt. This one is going to be a little bit heavier because of the platform size. You can see that it's roughly 3.15 pounds, making it one of the heaviest ratchets tested. Now, it does have a rather slim head, coming in under 1.25 inch at 1.166 inches. Now, when it comes to body thicknesses, you're looking at 1.86 inches and then another 2 inches. Now, this does feature a dual LED light, a locking switch, as well as a swivel head on it. Now, Ryobi states that this puts out roughly around 35 foot-pounds of torque, and you can see that it does easily get that. It can achieve roughly 39.9 foot-pounds of torque. Now, this happens to be right around 13 inches in length, and we're gonna try this one for the very first time and see just how much force you can put on Ryobi P344 electric ratchet to failure. So the Ryobi electric ratchet fails at 129 foot-pounds, and that was actually quite a bit more than the Milwaukee ratchet. Not too bad for Ryobi. Next up, we have the Harbor Freight Hercules extended 3/8" drive electric ratchet. This is part number 57276. With a 2 amp hour battery, it comes in roughly 2.9 pounds or just under 3 pounds. Now, taking a quick look at the head size, I do want to point out the oversized reverse forward selector switch here really allows, if you have bigger fingers or gloves on, an ease to, switch the direction. The head thickness, under 1.25 inches at 1.195 inches. And as far as the body, it comes in roughly around 2 inches in diameter. Now, the Harbor Freight Hercules is again claimed to have 40 foot-pounds of torque. We'll go ahead and use a fully charged battery, and we're going to measure that max torque here. You can see we're easily able to hit above 30 foot-pounds, and then with a little bit more work, you're able to achieve roughly 44.1 foot-pounds of max torque, which makes this Hercules ratchet meet and exceed all of the Harbor Freight specifications. Now, when it comes to max torque, you can see that this is an application you would never use this extended ratchet for. We over-torqued these lug nuts to 150 foot-pounds, and we gave it our best here. You can see that the Harbor Freight Hercules extended ratchet was no match for 150 foot-pounds, and well, you better hope you bought the extended warranty, because this extended ratchet is not meant to be a breaker bar, and you probably shouldn't put over 45 or 50 foot-pounds on it. Now, the last ratchet we're going to take a look at is the Milwaukee 2560-20 Fuel. Now, this is a bigger ratchet. It's an extended one, and it comes in roughly 3 pounds with the 2 amp hour battery. The head thickness is over 1.25 inches, It's actually 1.5 inches, and it's said to have 55 foot-pounds of max torque. The diameter on here is roughly 2 inches, give or take, and it does come with a trigger lock. Now, this is one of the biggest and bulky ratchets, so hopefully all this heft will produce a maximum amount of torque. We'll start things off with a fully charged 2 amp hour battery and see if the Milwaukee fuel can achieve 55 foot-pounds of max torque. Now we can see we can hit 49 foot-pounds pretty easily, but we really weren't able to get over that very much. We definitely were not able to exceed the 55 foot-pounds that Milwaukee stated with the 2 amp hour battery. We were able to get 49 foot-pounds of max torque. Now, not wanting to feel defeated, we escalated things up to the 6 amp hour battery, and with that, we were able to achieve 63.6 foot-pounds of max torque, making the Milwaukee M12 Fuel 2560-20 one of the strongest electric ratchets. So when it comes to max torque on the Milwaukee Fuel, we're going to go ahead and over torque some lug nuts to 150 foot-pounds. You can see that it's not able to break those free. Didn't expect it to, but with a little bit of leg force, we were actually able to free those up, and the tool still worked properly. So let's go head on inside, finish this off, and see just what max torque the Milwaukee Fuel can take. Milwaukee Fuel M12 extended ratchet. Ooh, something at 258 foot-pounds. Internally, we have some catastrophic issues. We got 4 bars still. We'll see what we can do here. And we were able to shear off the anvil on the Milwaukee at 267 foot-pounds. So after all that electric ratchet destruction, what are my final thoughts? Well, that Milwaukee brushed electric ratchet, it's actually pretty weak. I guess if you were to use it for the proper purposes, it would probably be okay. The reality is that I'm not the first person to break an electric ratchet, and I'm not going to be the last one. If you're buying one of these tools, make sure you know what the warranty is. And if you need to buy an extended warranty and you pick up the Harbor Freight one, make sure you do that. If you need the most amount of torque and you want to abuse your tool like it's a breaker bar, well, then you might as well get the Milwaukee Fuel. Just know that it's the heaviest, it's the thickest, and it's the biggest tool, and it costs the most amount of money. Otherwise, for everybody else, maybe you can get an impact driver and get the job done too. Really appreciate you guys all tuning in. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on any future upcoming videos like the Hazat 400 Newton meter challenge and the Hazat high performance 1000 Newton meter half-inch drive. This is going to be brought to you by Anglo-American Tool Company as well as KC Tools. Really appreciate you guys letting me demo some of the cool Hazat tools that are available from Germany and other European tools out there. And as always, guys, work smarter, not harder, and we'll catch you in the next video. Just a friendly reminder, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.